fried okra. Ideally, you would want to wait till the summertime and get fresh okra. But if it's winter or in a pinch and you don't have any fresh okra, get frozen cut okra. You can get it breaded, but don't do that. Just get the cut okra and then let it thaw out as much as possible. So okra, by itself, you can see, like even when I pour it on here, it's got like this little gloppy, stringy substance to it, and fresh okra will have a lot of it. So this is kind of a sticky, I don't even know what it's called, but it's naturally in the okra. So this acts as a thickener. So if you ever put okra in soups, it's like a potato. It helps thicken things up. But when you're frying it, it kind of takes the place of the egg too. So when we're frying it, we're not going to dredge it in that, because that kind of sticky already does it for us. So what I do is go ahead, you'll need some sort of liquid. So buttermilk, whole milk, or 2% milk, just to kind of keep it wet. And then we're going to put mostly cornmeal and just a little bit of flour. You can do all cornmeal, but it needs to be at least 80% cornmeal, and a little flour will help it fluff up as well. I'm all about saving dishes when I can. So you could do one where you dip it in the milk, then dip it in the flour. I just try to do it all in one dish because really you want to be puffy, or in a Ziploc bag. But so I have a little buttermilk. Again, you can use something else. So I just want to get it nice and wet. Now, this is also where people add a little dash of hot sauce. So you can do that. I'm not going to today, but sometimes throw a little hot sauce in there and to your milk, and that is good. So I make sure this is nice and covered in milk. And then I'm going to, I should use my other hand. Just turn this. Just kind of toss these around so that they are covered. Like so. And really, this is a little bit of a lazy way to do it because I don't want to wash all the dishes, but it works. So here's my cornmeal. Get it nice and covered. So see, there's my little individual pieces. And I want to sprinkle a good amount of salt and pepper on top. Really, it's the pepper that we're after. We'll sprinkle it with salt when they come out of the oil, but you want to add that pepper to the topping. So get that there. All right. Notice I didn't add any flour. Again, you don't have to, but you can. Just a little bit, and I'm going to have just a little bit more to make sure that every little piece is covered like so. Ooh, get back there. See how he looks? That's perfect. So you've got he's all covered up. Okay. So I've got canola oil in my pan, maybe half an inch or so. How do you know when it's hot enough? Take just a little bit there and drop it. See how it just sunk and nothing happened? That's not ready. So you're waiting, you want to hear it sizzle and pop. So no sizzle, no pop, not hot enough. Fancy people have thermometers and numbers to use. I don't know what number I would need. I just know that that's not it. Okay. All right, so we are now obviously sizzling. You don't want angry bubbles. Like this may be a little bit high. So I'm gonna turn the heat back just a second. And I want to get one layer down. There you go. If you're not wearing an apron, make sure you're wearing an old shirt. This will pop, especially if you're using from frozen. If any of that water is still in there, when it hits the oil, it's going to be mad and be a little extra poppy. All right, and just watch it. You want to turn them over when they start turning brown. And when they're brown on both sides, take them out and put them on a paper towel and immediately get some salt on there. All right, when I talk about happy bubbles, this is what a happy bubble looks like. Angry bubbles are like popping up and shooting out of the pan. But see, they're bubbling, but they're not angry and popping out. So this is what we're looking for, happy bubbles. Right now I've got the heat on about mid. I started with high and backed it down. So you'll just have to keep playing with this to get to happy bubble stage. But when they are done on both sides, that is when you can take them out, salt, and then you can start your next layer. So this is our second batch, all nice and brown. Don't forget about all of these little crispies. These are like candy. We're gonna fight over those later. Also, I cannot figure out how to avoid the grease splatter that will be all over your oven. So I just pretty much know if you're making okra, this is your payment. You have to clean up the grease splatter. But other than that, oh, and then some of these, because again, I was lazy and I did it the way I did it, some of them stick together. We just call that a bonus. So if you've got several clumped together, you know, go with it. Or do the separate dredging station, and that will take care of that as well. Okay, fried okra. Eat them while they're hot. Enjoy.